If you're a man over 30 and your metabolism feels like it's completely shut down, you're not alone. You're training hard, you're watching what you're eating, but the fat just isn't coming off like it used to. Here's the truth. Your metabolism isn't broken. You've just been given the wrong playbook. In this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly how to fire up your metabolism, burn fat efficiently, and finally feel in control of your body again. No BS, no magic pills, just what actually works. From someone who has helped over 700 high-performing men over 30 do exactly that. You see, after 30, your body changes hormonally, metabolically, and lifestyle-wise. Once you hit your 30s, your physiology starts working against you, unless you take control. You see, you're not 22 anymore, and that's not a bad thing, but it does mean that you need a different approach, because what worked in your 20s, random workouts here or there, some sessions training hard, others, going through the motions a little bit and maybe skipping meals. What you did in your 20s just isn't cutting it anymore. Testosterone begins to decline, muscle mass decreases if you're not training properly, and your metabolism slows due to less lean tissue. Your testosterone, the hormone that drives energy, confidence, and muscle growth, starts to, taper off. And that leads to slower recovery, lower drive, and more fat gain around the belly. And on top of that, most guys aren't lifting properly or at all. So you start losing muscle. Less muscle equals a slower metabolism, which means your body burns fewer calories, even at rest. And on top of that, stress, poor sleep, more alcohol, inconsistent routines from work or family life compound the problem. You see, you're juggling meetings, deadlines, family life, and probably sleeping less than ever. You add in the weekend drinks and skipping meals during the week, and it's no surprise your body isn't changing. Stress raises cortisol, which makes it harder to burn fat and easier to store it, especially around your stomach. Now, you've probably tried to fix it by eating less and doing more cardio. That only digs a deeper hole. You see, the common fix is to slash calories and hammer the treadmill, but now you're losing more muscle. You're tanking your energy and you're wrecking your metabolism even further. You burn out fast, then binge, and the weight comes back harder. So let's break the cycle by rebuilding your metabolism from the ground up. This is where things shift, because it's not about just eating less. It's about actually fueling properly, lifting to build muscle, structuring your week so it fits your life. This is how we rebuild your metabolism. We reignite your energy and help you actually see results and keep them, because we want to keep results for life. This is about being lean for life. Now, muscle is your metabolism's best friend, because if you want to burn more calories without living on a treadmill, you need to build more muscle. Okay, muscle isn't just for aesthetics. It can look great, but it's metabolically active tissue. That means it requires calories to just exist. So the more muscle you actually carry, the more energy your body burns doing absolutely nothing. That's right. Even when you're sat down like this at a desk or on a Zoom call or lying on the sofa, muscle is always working in your favor. So the more muscle you have, the more calories you burn at rest. Full stop. Okay, so think of it like this. Fat stores energy, muscle spends it. So when you increase your lean muscle mass, your body becomes more efficient. It becomes a fat burning machine 24/7. So it's not about getting huge and becoming a mass monster who steps on stage covered in oil in his underpants. That's not what we do here, and that's not what we're about. But building lean muscle, it's about being metabolically efficient and structurally strong. And as you age, strength training isn't optional, it is essential. So try to aim for around 3 sessions a week of training. Now, once you're over 30, muscle doesn't maintain itself. You have to train, not just for fat loss, but to maintain bone density, hormone balance, and functional strength. 3 focused strength sessions a week is literally all it takes. You don't need to live in the gym, but you do need to train with intent. So focus on things like compound movements, your rows, your presses, some squats, some hinging movements should all be your bread and butter here, because these movements train the most muscle in the least amount of time. They stimulate growth, they elevate your heart rate, and build real world strength. These aren't just for bodybuilders. Again, we're like the guys who step on stage in oil. They're tools that keep high performing men just like you fit, lean, and injury free. So please, for the love of God, forget the 5-day, 6-day bro splits. You need high ROI workouts that stimulate muscle and that you recover well from. So with our members inside the Metabolic Mastery Method, we work on 3 sessions a week, 45 minutes, short, sharp, impactful workouts to get most out of those sessions without wasting time and doing junk volume. Because if you think about it, time is your most valuable asset. So ditch the chest day, arm day, back day nonsense, and instead train full body or upper lower splits that hit each muscle group multiple times a week. You'll build more muscle in less time and recover properly in between these sessions. The key kind of concept here is that muscle is metabolic tissue. So building more muscle is what keeps you lean, strong, and energetic. Now, this is something that most men overlook. They focus on cardio or crash diets, but ignore the one thing that drives long-term change, which is building that lean tissue. Muscle is like your insurance policy here. It's the insurance policy against fat gain. It's against weakness, against low energy and poor health. So make sure we build lean muscle. Now, principle 2 is going to be focusing on eating for metabolism, not just for fat loss. Because if you're drastically cutting calories and wondering why your fat loss has stalled, here's the truth. You're probably actually under eating. And no, that's not a badge of honor. We don't want to be under eating and saying how, disciplined we are. Slashing your calorie intake too hard doesn't speed up fat loss. It actually slows it down. Your body's not broken, it's just in survival mode. When you chronically underfuel yourself, your metabolism begins to adapt, your thyroid function drops, your testosterone declines, you feel tired, irritable, your libido crashes, cravings skyrocket, and then come the weekend, you binge and you go off plan and wipe out all of that progress. And this is the cycle that too many high-performing men are stuck in. And it's fixable. You just need a structured, high-protein, balanced carb and fat approach that fuels recovery and fat loss. Because fat loss isn't just about eating less, it's about eating right. And that means, eating enough protein to maintain muscle, enough carbs to fuel performance and give you that energy day to day, enough fats to support hormones. And when your body is properly fueled, it burns fat more efficiently. You feel better, you therefore train harder, and you stay consistent. So when it comes to our protein goal, around 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight spread across sort of 3 to 4 meals is pretty optimal. Protein is the king for body composition, I'll be honest. It keeps you full, keeps you satiated, it supports that lean muscle and raises the actual thermic effect of food, which means your body actually burns more calories digesting protein than it does with carbs and fats. So a higher protein diet is key. So split that protein intake up throughout the day to maximize protein absorption and avoid missing that target. Now, something I want to touch on here is that carbs are not the enemy. Okay, a lot of people cut out carbs. That is wrong. Just carb timing is everything. Eating carbs before your workout helps boost that performance in that session. And then post-workout, they help replenish that glycogen that's been lost from the session. And it starts to really kickstart that recovery process. So just time your carbs strategically around the workout windows, because carbs actually support fat loss by improving your training quality and keeping those hormones in check. Now, here's the move. Don't eat the same calories every day forever. Calorie cycling and carb cycling allows for flexibility. Lower calories on rest days, slightly higher calories on training days, and then rotate this every 2 to 4 weeks. And then what you want to do every 2 to 4 weeks is use a structured refeed day to restore leptin levels, boost your metabolism, and give yourself a psychological reset as well. And this prevents burnout, this prevents, you falling off track, and just keeps that fat loss goal on the right path. Now, one thing that I need to raise here is that your body should be able to burn both fat and carbs efficiently. The best performing bodies, the guys that you see who are lean 365 days a year, not just aesthetically, but functionally, they aren't just stuck in one fuel mode. They are adaptable. They switch between fat and carbohydrate metabolism based on the task at hand. For example, when you're sitting in traffic, let's say, which is the equivalent of low activity like a rest day, etc. Your car runs on electricity, and for you that would be your fat. But when you hit the accelerator, which is the high effort, the training sessions, it tips to fuel. The car tips to fuel, which is effectively for you your carbohydrates. And the problem is that most guys can't switch. Too many guys are either carb phobic and cutting out all the carbohydrates, or they're over reliant on sugar. And one camp thinks that carbs are the devil, and they completely leave them. They cut them out, and that then leaves you flat, weak, and then leads to eventually binging. The other camp lives on energy drinks, sugary snacks, and constant insulin spikes with a waistline to prove that. Now, neither group is metabolically flexible. Both are stuck. So you need to train your body to use both fuels. So some fasted morning walks plus some fueled strength sessions equals the best of both here. Because your faster cardio, especially like you're walking, trains your body to tap into those fat stores efficiently. And then you pair that with some hard-hitting resistance training sessions, those 3 sessions a week we were talking about, where you fuel up pre- and post-workout with some carbs and protein, and now you've got a metabolism that's firing on all cylinders. This kind of dual fuel system is what keeps you lean, keeps you strong, and keeps you performing at your best with sustained energy day to day. And being metabolically flexible means your body doesn't freak out when food or activity changes. If you go on holiday, you miss a workout, you've got a big dinner out, client lunch, no problem, because your body adapts, because you've trained it to handle that variety. That is the goal here. We're not chasing perfection, but we're chasing adaptability. And it starts with your habits, not your hacks. Now, a tactical tip here that you can go and implement today from this video is go and walk for 20 to 30 minutes a day. That low intensity movement boosts your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which helps burn fat, lower cortisol levels, and keeps you from feeling like a zombie between workouts. It's your secret weapon that doesn't actually feel like work because it's really low in terms of intensity and it's less demanding on the body. The next principle that I want to talk about is sleep, stress, and recovery, because you can't out-diet poor recovery. Let me be blunt here. If you're trying to lose body fat while sleeping 5 hours a night and living on triple espressos, you are playing a losing game, okay? You could have the best meal plan and training split on the planet, but if your recovery is trash, your results will be too. Okay, so fat loss just isn't just about the kitchen and the gym. It's also about what you do outside of them. So here's the science. When you sleep less than 6 hours, cortisol, your stress hormone, skyrockets. Testosterone, the hormone that helps you build that muscle and burn fat, tanks. And your hunger hormones, they go through the roof. You will crave sugar, carbs, and calorie-dense foods like crazy. And that's not willpower failing, that's just biology. Sleep is fat loss insurance. And I'm not saying you have to quit your job and just become a monk in Bali, but if you're constantly plugged in, working 12-hour days and mentally wired, you need deliberate recovery strategies. Walks without your phone, lifting weights to blow off the steam, bit of journaling before bed. Even just 30 tech-free minutes in the evening can signal your brain to wind down. Now, most busy men think recovery is for elite athletes or people with too much time. False. Recovery is the edge. It keeps your metabolism humming, your cravings low, your energy levels high. And if you want to build a lean, healthy body after 30, your recovery is your foundation. It all starts with your recovery. Now, something that I wanted to touch on in this video, which I think is very, very important based on the day and age that we're in with social media, is you need to stop following fitness influencer workouts or bodybuilder splits and workouts designed by people who don't actually have a real life. You don't need 6-day workout splits, endless HIIT cardio, and chicken and broccoli meals every single day. You know, that might work for someone whose full-time job is looking fantastic for Instagram. But for the average man in his 30s, 40s, or 50s, guys who are running businesses, leading teams, that is a straight path to burnout and injury. You need a method that actually works with your life, not against it. And that's one of the biggest mistakes that I see. Time-constrained men over 30 trying to train and eat like they're still at university. But your metabolism, hormones, and stress levels are very different now. If you've got meetings, deadlines, school pickups, and real-world stress, your program needs to reflect your reality, not the fantasy world. You need structure, simplicity, and sustainability. Now, this is where most plans actually fall apart because they're all hype and zero habit. What you really need is a structured training program, 3 days a week, with repeatable meals that you actually enjoy, daily non-negotiable walks, get outside, unplug, and built-in recovery to avoid that burnout. Because a key message here is that sustainable beats extreme every single time. It's not about how hard you can go for 4 weeks at a time with these short sprints. It's about what you can actually stick to for 4 years rather than those 4 weeks. Because a lean and strong body comes from consistency. And if you're someone, you're tired of starting over every single Monday, you find yourself in that cycle, I'll start again on Monday. It's time to stop following those influences and start following a real system. Now, here's what happened when real guys over 35 started following this approach. Stu was burned out running 4 businesses. He had just brought his second child into the world and his body and fitness had taken a backseat. And he had his 41st birthday on the horizon. In the past, Stu had tried many fads, many different trainers, herbal life, things like that, but nothing suited his real life. But you fast forward just 90 days, he is now in the shape of his life at 41. His businesses are thriving and he is the super dad that he wants to be for his kids and his wife with more energy, drive, and productivity than ever before. Because if you're a busy entrepreneur or a corporate executive, you are the most valuable asset. So when you can get more out of yourself, you can get more out of your business, just like Stu did. Then you look at Dan, a busy property investor who was getting out of breath, running to and from his properties, going on fancy and incredible holidays, but just not happy with how he looked. And his confidence was shot. But now Dan has lost over 40 pounds in just 20 weeks. He finally feels confident with his shirt off and his health markers have significantly improved with total testosterone levels higher than ever before. And this is all done without using any performance enhancers. He is in better shape at 38 than most men in their 20s, and his work is thriving. So if you're tired of spinning your wheels and you want a proven system that's built for men over 30 who are time constrained, high performing men, I've put a video together on the link below this one, which walks you through our metabolic mastery method in more detail. And you'll be able to implement some things from that video today to start seeing results. So go and check that video out. Click the link below and go and watch that video. But if you do have any questions, just drop them in the comments below. Okay. Or you can DM me on Instagram at Harry Knights Coaching, where I spend a lot of time replying to guys in there and answering questions. And there's a lot more content on there as well as the YouTube. So check that out at Harry Knights Coaching. But click the link below this video if you want more information on our metabolic mastery method. And make sure you like and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next one.